But what the hell, boy?
All right, here we go. Hey, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bros Talk MMA.
Shama.
I'm your host, UTICA, undeniably the illest cat around, a.k.a. Mr. Make This Pick Real Quick.
Kickable.
I'm here. Oh. Hey, everything all right, bro?
Everything's fine.
You sure?
Perfectly
Last
fine.
week was kind of rough.
Don't worry about it.
For sure. We'll circle back later on in the show. I'm here with my bro, host extraordinaire.
It's RayBucks.
Nothing else?
That's it.
This nigga must be crazy.
We're here to cover this weekend's fight night card. It's going to be headlined by a flyweight bout between Manel Kape going up against Asu Almabayev. I believe it's a, let's see here, 12-fight card. We've had a lot of 12-fight cards here recently. We're going to start things off in the flyweight division. We have Charles Johnson going up against Ramazan Temirov. We got Johnson. Johnson is 6-4 in the UFC, 17-6 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Temirov coming in. They're 1-0 in the UFC, 18-2 overall, and are currently riding a 10-fight win streak. My pick's going to be with Johnson by either a decision or submission. They're going to be the older fighter by 6 years, bigger of the two, well-rounded, but definitely leans more towards their striking. They should have the advantage from a technical standpoint in that regard. Definitely has some good cardio and is shown to be durable during this UFC stint. Especially here recently. Definitely a dog fighter. They're gonna have more UFC experience of the two. And just their strength of schedule overall definitely beats Temirov and, you know, who they've faced leading up to and in their UFC tenure so far. I would just say that they just need to keep the fight at distance, possibly mix in some grappling from time to time, just to a decision or possibly find the finish if they can. If Temirov begins to break in the later rounds, but yeah, I would just try to make this a clean one, take it to the cards. Timirov's going to be the younger and smaller of the two fighters, a power striker that's going to have the advantage in that realm. So if he's able to, you know, catch Charles Johnson's chin, you know, he's going to be able to put him down. But like I said here recently, Johnson's been able to show that he has a pretty decent chin. They don't really have any real grappling like that. You know, they're gonna want to look to keep this on the feet. Maybe they got some takedown defense, but from what I've seen, that, you know, it just grappling isn't really their forte. They've been shown to be durable, have some cardio, so they can go to the cards. I just don't know if at a UFC level they'll be able to, you know, have the judges lean it their way if this was to go to decision. Like I said, they're the people that they've faced at the level, you know, that they were coming up leading into the UFC and even their UFC debut, you know, I just don't think is as strong as Johnson. Yeah, I would just say they need to get this close, land some power, find the finish, you know, a flash KO of some sort. But yeah, try to avoid getting grappled at all costs. And yeah, I'm going to be going with Temirov on this one.
Wait a damn minute. Something's wrong here.
I thought you just said you were going to go to Johnson on this one.
Oh, shit.
Your pick was Johnson.
My bad. Yep, I'm going with Charles Johnson. You right. My bad. You got me off. I'm thrown off, bro. I don't know who I'm hosting with right now.
Whose man is this?
It looks like fucking Sasquatch, right? You know, next to me. Shit.
Bigfoot's real.
I know it was a rough week last week, but damn, bro, like you look like you're going through it.
Yo, killing me with this.
Timirov's going to beat the shit out of CJ from fucking GTA San Andreas. Timirov's got better wrestling. Charles Johnson's got better hands slightly. If Charles Johnson's able to keep him at distance, he may be able to win this fight, but I don't see that happening. Temirov for the win, whipping his ass.
Well, okay.
Temirov to win.
All right. That's another one in the bag for me. I can't wait to talk about last week's results, but we'll get that later on. So moving on to a women's flyweight bout, we got Montana De La Rosa going up against Luana Carolina. We got De La Rosa coming in 6-5 with one draw in the UFC, 13-9 with that one draw overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. We got Carolina coming in 6-3 in the UFC, 11-4 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Carolina by decision or KO. They're going to be the slightly older of the two. They're going to have a slight reach advantage. They're going to be the striker who should have the edge in that department. Okay takedown defense to try and keep it on the feet. Should just try and keep this at distance and pick De La Rosa apart and just, avoid the grappling stuff, the takedowns. And they should definitely be able to take this one home. De La Rosa is going to be the younger fighter, a grappler who should, have the edge in that department. They're going to need to get in close to get a takedown, which means they're going to have to take some damage to get there. And I just don't think they can do it unless they're able to get it done immediately. As the fight wears on, it's just going to become tougher and tougher. They got a competitor spirit, but they're just of that cloth to me where, they like to train, they like to, live the lifestyle. They got they get called for fights, they got a UFC contract, but they're just not like a killer, in my opinion. Somebody who really wants to go in there and inflict damage on their opponent. So yeah, I'm gonna be going with Carolina in this one.
It's the first good pick you had all night.
Really, nigga?
Oh, you're gonna talk to me about picks?
Oh, I'm gonna talk to you about picks.
Interesting.
Luana Carolina for the win against Montana De La Rosa. De La Rosa just doesn't have very many routes to victory on this one, in my opinion. She's kind of just weak everywhere. She's, in the end of the day, she's a trash can.
Try!
You know what I mean? I don't pick trash cans.
Really?
So that being said, Luana
Cool
Carolina for the win. Let's move on to the next fight.
For sure. Moving on to the next fight. We got a featherweight bout. We got Lucas Almeida going up against Danny Silva. We got Almeida coming in 2-2 in the UFC, 15-3 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. We got Silva coming in. They are 1-0 in the UFC, 9-1 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Silva by either KO or decision. I believe that let me start this over. They're going to be the younger fighter with the slight reach advantage, a striker who should have the edge in that department. Their grappling needs work, but I'm assuming that, they're young and they're just still evolving, realizing that they're going to have to, shore that up in their game plan to, start to rise the ranks, and even just remain at a UFC level. They throw everything with bad intentions, though, and they definitely are a dog fighter. They just need to be measured with their energy and, their output and just avoid any grappling exchanges, and I think they'll be okay in this one. Almeida's going to be the older of the two by 6 years with a slight reach advantage. Well-rounded and should have the edge in the grappling department. They don't go to decision much outside of the one loss on out of the 3 that they got on their record by that method. And with those 3 losses on their record, they've literally lost by each method. So they could definitely pose a threat if they get the fight to the ground. But I'm just not sure if they can. So my pick's gonna have to be with Silva in this one. Who you got?
I'm going to go with Danny Silva. He's going to beat up Lucas Almeida. He's 1-0 in the UFC. He's an up-and-comer. I think this is a boost-up fight, fighting Lucas Almeida. I'm going to get him to the next level and just kind of show that he belongs here in the UFC and he belongs in as an up-and-comer going up the ranks. So I'm going to go with Danny Silva in this one.
Now it seems like you're getting back on track, bro. I like to see it. Love to see it.
Why so serious?
Moving on, we got another flyweight fight in the women's division. We got Andrea Lee going up against JJ Aldrich. We got Lee coming in 5-8 in the UFC, 13-10 overall, and are currently on a 5-fight losing streak. We got Aldrich coming in. They are 9-6 in the UFC, 13-7 overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Aldrich in this one by decision. They're going to be the younger and smaller fighter, a point fighter that, you know, just looks to touch you up in between stuff and takedowns if that's like the route you take. Other than that, they'll just kind of stay on their bike and just try and touch you up from the outside. Definite edge in the cardio, and they just need to keep the fight standing and or, you know, just like control Lee from a top position if they end up stuffing takedowns. Or, yeah, just like I said, staying on the outside, just kind of touching them up, you know, never really letting them get close. Lee's going to be the older of the two by 4 years and the bigger fighter. They're going to be a point fighter that has some grappling, but they'll look to likely apply it if things don't go well on the feet. I feel like they primarily do like to kind of just strike. They're pretty durable. They've never been knocked out. So they just don't do well on the cards. So I definitely feel like they're going to come out hot, try to get things going. They literally, those last 5 losses that they've had have all been by decision. They got 9 decision losses overall. More of those than they do wins. So I feel like cardio, I wouldn't say cardio is a question. It's just staying power over 3 rounds and output and stuff like that, which I guess, yeah, it has to do with cardio. So I'm going to fucking go ahead and cue the
What a dumbass!
soundbite. Needs to make the fight messy, you know, and get Aldrich to the ground, being that it looks like they would have the edge in that department. So, yeah, I am still going to go with Aldrich in this one. And I mean, both of them aren't that great, and it's not like a fight I'm super looking forward to. But yeah, I'll be going with Aldrich.
This is another women's trash flyweight belt.
Try!
These are 2 trash cans going against each other. Just one trash can stinks a little bit more than the other. That being said, my pick in this fight is going to be with JJ Aldrich.
Damn.
Never in my time picking UFC or making bets did I ever think I would pick JJ Aldrich, but I have. So there you go. Because Andrea Lee, you stink.
Stinks like shit.
5 of your last 5 fights. How are you still in the UFC? Doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's because the 125 division, the 125 women's division is trash. So that being said, JJ Aldrich, good job being top of the trash heap.
Bro. What is the moniker for fucking fur coat RayBucks, dog? Like, we gotta get a moniker for this mythical character I'm looking at right now, dog. You're coming with it right now.
Don't you worry about what fucking fur fucking coat RayBucks does. He does whatever the fuck he wants.
Fur
Coat Bucks does
Fur
what the fuck he
coat
wants.
Bucks does what he wants. Oh, shit.
I do what I want.
Moving on to the next fight, we got a bantamweight bout between Douglas Silva de Andrade going up against John Castaneda. We got De Andrade coming in. They are 7-6 in the UFC, 29-6 with 1 no contest overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. We got Castaneda coming in. They are 4-3 in the UFC, 21-7 overall, and 3-2 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Castaneda by decision or sub. They're going to be the younger and shorter fighter with a slight reach advantage. Well-rounded, but leans towards striking. They're gonna have the technical edge in that regard. They can grapple and possibly, I would say mix it in sparingly, because One thing I will say is that their cardio is a little bit questionable, but they will want to mix this in just a little bit to wear on their opponent's energy, keep them guessing. For them, they just need to avoid the power of Andrade and any like wild exchanges with him, even on the ground, because Andrade, you know, even though they don't got a lot of submissions on their record, I'm pretty sure they know a thing or two on the ground.
Same thing.
But Castaneda, like I said too, can find himself gassing sometimes in these fights, so he needs to, just be measured and, kind of just keep this fight standing, stay at distance, and, pick De Andrade's part. Don't let him get in close, and he should be good. De Andrade is going to be the older of the two by 6 years, a power striker with some grappling, and like I said, probably at least enough takedown defense to keep it on the feet. A durable, tough old head. Just they need to land quick so that they can even the playing field, potentially have Castaneda going for, desperate takedown attempts. And, his cardio could be in question because they definitely got some decision losses on their record as well. But it just remains to be seen who's going to win that battle. In particular, that probably is going to be the X factor in this one. He's going to need to get in close, land those power shots, and avoid any grappling exchanges if possible. But yeah, I'm going to be going with Castaneda.
I got to agree with you on that. Castaneda will win this one. De Andrade better be De Andrade. You better get the fuck out the way because Castaneda's definitely going to piece him up. Andrade, as you said, does have more power than Castaneda, and he could catch Castaneda, so he does have a puncher's chance in that regard. But that being said, Castaneda has enough fights under his belt that he knows that he needs to duck the power, at least duck the power for the first couple of rounds. And then, you know what I mean, just piece him up just piece him up on the feet. Keep off the ground for the most part. Maybe in the third round, when you've worn the old man's gas tank out, you can try a little grappling. Other than that, for the most part, if John Castaneda keeps it on the feet, he'll win this one.
For sure. Moving on to a featherweight bout, we have Ricardo Ramos going up against Chepe. Mariscal is going to be the featured prelim bout. We got Ramos coming in 8-5 in the UFC, 17-6 overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. We got Mariscal coming in 4-0 in the UFC, 17-6 with 1 no contest overall, and they are currently riding a 7-fight win streak. I'm going to be going with my man Chepe by either decision or submission. He's going to be the older of the two by 3 years and the smaller fighter. Well-rounded, likes to overwhelm and drown opponents, will touch it up while looking for takedowns in between, put you against the fence if he's not able to get that takedown right away. He can get a little wild in exchanges, which it's a two-edged sword. It's something that concerns me, but at the same time, it is a weapon that he uses to his advantage most times. He's not afraid to get in the phone booth or, get into wild scrambles, because more often than not, he's going to outwork you to get, the better positioning. Or like I said, he's going to, try to overwhelm you with punches or lean you up against the cage and just try to get you down to the ground from there. Super durable. Is gonna have, as of late, I would say he's super durable. Has great cardio and just needs to pressure Ramos and keep them guessing all fight. And I think he'll be able to take this home. Ramos is gonna be the younger and bigger of the two fighters, well-rounded, prefers to strike from what I've seen. He has a nasty spinning back elbow that he'll definitely try to throw, I'm assuming, at least once or twice in this fight. I just don't know where they have the advantage though, maybe, I guess, if anything, power in the striking, but for the most part, they got low IQ moments that I don't like to see. especially when if the fight starts to get a little wild, they start to leave themselves a little bit open. I mean, they literally got guillotined twice, back to back, just leaving their neck open for no reason. So they just need to keep this fight at distance. I think they need to just look to try and fight a clean fight, point their way to victory. If they are able, land something powerful, and then find the finish from there. But they really just need to get some cage time and just kind of learn how to just win fundamentally on this go. But I don't think it's going to happen. My man Chepe is going to take it home. And yeah, that's my pick.
Chepe Mariscal has an extremely deep weapons loadout. I mean, he really can take you down, beat you up from any level on the mat, from the ground all the way up to you know what I mean, standing up against the cage, his back against the cage. It doesn't matter. He does have the ability to beat you from anywhere. That being said, I think he takes this one from Ramos. I think Ramos is just a little inexperienced for Chepe. Not maybe inexperienced. He just has a lower fight IQ. And he just does not have as many routes to victory. And I don't see a lot of ways that he gets to win because Chepe is just going to pour volume, power, and skill on him. And that being said, Chepe is always going to be my guy. Chepe hasn't lost me anything yet, so Chepe for the win.
For sure. All right, folks, moving on to the main card. We're going to start things off in the welterweight division. We have Danny Left Hand to God Barlow going up against Sam Patterson. We got Barlow coming in 2-0 in the UFC, 9-0 overall.
Perfect.
We got Patterson coming in 2-1 in the UFC, 12-2 with one draw overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. My pick, actually, this was as of a little bit before shooting when I was going over my notes. I'm gonna go with Patterson in this one by either submission or decision. They're gonna be the younger and slightly taller of the two fighters, well-rounded, and should have the edge in the grappling department. They definitely like to strike, but if possible, and if you give them the opportunity, they will get you to the ground, wrap you up, and choke you out. They don't like to go to the cards much, so their cardio is definitely going to be a concern of mine with this fight. So they just need to either, they need to look to keep the striking exchanges brief with Barlow, find openings for takedowns, and then look for that submission and or just maintain control over 3 rounds. Barlow, he's going to be the slightly older of the two by 1 year. A shorter fighter with a slight reach advantage, though. A dangerous striker with a possible edge in that department in terms of just power and, coming from a variety of different angles. He's shown to have endurance. He's had a couple of he had a close one in these last 2 fights in the UFC, which one of them was against somebody who competed last week, Nikolay Veredenikov, who, although looked terrible in his fight this past weekend, it was mostly because he just is worthless, in the grappling department, and from his back in particular, just got, controlled and just looked like trash, and eventually got grounded and pounded out by Vanderford. But on the feet, he did look like he was posing a threat, which is why Vanderford needed to get it to the ground. So I think had that been a standing fight primarily, that would have played out a little bit differently. And so that's why I say against Veredenikov, Danny Barlow, squeaked out a split decision. But I think it's because he was actually fighting more of a Veredenikov fight, and giving him at least a chance to win. Whereas if potentially he took him down, then we could have seen more of the same. Either way, I just feel like since that potentially won't be the case in this fight, I think if Patterson's smart, he'll get Barlow to the ground, which, just haven't seen Barlow against a lot of, high-level grapplers. So I think that this will be the first time he'll really, be tested unless he touches Patterson's chin. And then in that case, he definitely, because I've seen Patterson fold. I don't know about his chin being that great. But like I said, he does like to strike. He does pose a threat there, but I would say if he's smart, he'll just use that to find openings for takedowns, get Barlow down, drain his energy, and just show him what he has to look forward to if he ever does go up against some body who can keep him guessing and, potentially get him to the ground and, test his mettle there.
Danny Barlow's going to slap fucking Sam Patterson in the mouth.
You got knocked the fuck out,
That's
man!
going to be into that. Yes, Red Cop was his last fight. Yes, he did get a split decision. I don't know if I agree with the split. I think it should have been more of a unanimous decision. Also, he probably should have just got him out of there, but hey, he's newer into the UFC. I get it.
I mean, he did put Josh Quinlan away, so that was an impressive, win. Like I said, though, Quinlan's still a little bit more of a striker, and he just bested him in that department. Like I said, Patterson just, he does have more routes to victory, which is why I had to go with him ultimately. But, Danny Barlow could clip him and get this shit over with, so.
Danny Barlow will clip him. He will get that shit over with. Sam Patterson will lose. Danny Barlow will be another win for me in the night over you. That being said, Danny Barlow for the win. He'll keep his streak going.
For sure. All right, moving on to a men's featherweight bout. We have William Gomes going up against Haider Emil. We got Gomes coming in. They are 4-0 in the UFC, 14-2 overall, and are currently riding a 12-fight win streak. We got Emil coming in. They are 2-0 in the UFC and are a perfect 10-0.
Perfection.
I'm gonna be going with Gomes in this one by either decision or KO. They're gonna be the younger and bigger fighter, technical striker with the edge in that department. I would say it could benefit them though if they could get a little more aggressive. I feel like they're a little bit too much with the point fighting and they find finishes and have finished opponents, but I also feel like they could do that more if they just, turned it on a little bit more. But most likely they're going to look to keep this clean, point fight their way to victory, keep Emil at distance, and avoid any wild, phone booth type style exchanges with them. Just really keep this at distance, play the outside, and find their shots and potentially find the finish if they start to break Emil down. Emil's going to be the older of the two by 7 years, the smaller of the two, a power striker with the edge and aggressiveness. So there's definitely the potential that he's going to look to come out fast, finish this fight ASAP. Needs to get in close, make the fight messy, like I said, and he could go to decision, but I just feel like he'll end up on the short end of that if he does. The longer this fight goes, I feel like it will play into Gomes' hands. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Gomes in this one.
I gotta go with Gomes as well. I gotta go with Gomes in a decision victory. I don't think he'll get a KO. I think he'll just take Emil Haider into deep third round water. He will just keep enough pressure on him, manage his own cardio, which he has plenty of it. And I don't believe that Haider Emil has the same cardio. So I think he fades in the third round, and as long as Gomes wins one of the first 2 rounds, then we take the fight in a decision. I don't like betting on decision fighters. Not my favorite thing. But I think this is the best pick of the two, so I'm going to go with Gomes.
For sure. All right, moving on to the first of 2 fights that I don't understand why they're on the main card, how they are on even before the Chepe fight.
Halfway.
But we got a heavyweight bout between Austin Lane going up against Mario Pinto. We got Lane coming in. They are 1-2 in the UFC, 13-5 with 1 no contest overall, and 2-2 with that 1 no contest in their last 5 fights. We got Pinto coming in, making their UFC debut. They're going to be a perfect 9-0 overall.
Unstoppable.
My pick's going to be with Pinto by either KO or decision. He's going to be the younger and slightly smaller of the two fighters, somewhat well-rounded, but definitely leans towards the striking. I don't got a lot of info on him, but, for me, even though they did win their last bout, every Austin Lane fight is always going to me, be a prop-up fight for whoever they're going up against. I feel like that they've shown pretty much who they are. Their chin's not that great, so I feel like the UFC is now just putting them in position to start, propping up new prospects to get into the heavyweight division. All he really needs to do is find his jaw. He finds Lane's jaw, he could easily, get this one over with early, but it does look like he has some staying power over 3 rounds, so he might have the conditioning to just piece him up over 3 rounds. But even then, like I said, I just don't think Lane is built to even take punishment like that over that amount of time. Lane's going to be older by 11 years. The bigger of the two fighters, a striker with KO power, but he just hasn't looked all that threatening at all at a UFC level. No finishes or, anything of merit, I want to say, at this level. He needs to either point fight or get a flash KO. He did just beat a hyped prospect and actually put him out of the UFC in Robelis Despang by just wrestling him. He took an entirely different approach, made it so that his chin, had a lower probability of getting tapped. And, I'm sure pissed off, the matchmakers and Dana White, but then also kind of helped them, weed out some of, the talent that could be overhyped and just kind of waste their time. Once again, though, I just feel like every time now that he's put on the bill, it's going to be to get somebody else over. And unless they understand what they're up against in this bout and, have trained to probably take the wrestling route and hopefully be able to find the advantage there over Pinto, I can't see them not getting knocked out in this one. So that's what I'm going with, is the UFC debut of Mario Pinto.
Mario Pinto's going to fucking put Austin Lane in the fucking fast lane to sleepy land. That being said, Austin Lane, I think he's a decent fighter. He's a average fighter. Pinto, I think this is, again, like he said, this is a fight for him to just, show his worth to the company, to make a highlight film and put another notch on his highlight reel. He is a knockout artist. He's knocked out most of the people he's fought recently.
Yeah, he got some subs on his record too, or got a sub on his record, and then a few decisions. So
he has the cardio enough to go the distance, but he's looking to knock your head off, and that's what we all want to see. So that being said, I've got to go with Mario Pinto over Austin Lane, because Austin Lane, in my opinion, just sometimes doesn't look like he wants to be in the ring. And I can't. It's hard for me to bet on him. It doesn't look like they want to be in the ring every time that they're in the ring.
For sure. All right, moving on to a lightweight bout. We got Nasrat Haqparast going up against Esteban Ribovics. We got Haqparast coming in 9-4 in the UFC, 17-5 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Ribovics coming in 3-1 in the UFC, 14-1 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. My pick's going to be with Ribovics by either KO or decision. They're going to be the slightly younger of the two fighters with a reach. They're going to have the disadvantage in the reach. They're going to be a power striker with the edge in that department. A durable dog fighter, is going to look to finish, but can go the distance if it ends up going all 3. And is able to, carry power and stay just as threatening from round 1 all the way through round 3. I feel like if they're able to not get in too many wild exchanges and stay a little more measured and just throw a decent amount of volume and power. When they do land, I feel like they'll be able to either break Happerast and put him away, or just, dominate over 3 rounds, or at least 2 out of 3 for sure. Happerast is going to be the older of the two by 1 year. He's going to have the reach advantage. He's a volume striker. He's going to have the edge there, but he does like to get a little, scrappy. He's somewhat durable, not all that durable. He is a dog fighter. But he needs to keep it at distance and just throw the volume and hopefully, just squeak out a decision and point fight his way to victory. I just don't see it happening, though. I don't think he's powerful enough to put away Rybavix. And his cardio sometimes is a question, and I feel like he's either going to throw too hard trying to, compete and or put away Rybavix, which will leave a door open for him to come back if Nasrat happens to be up on the cards, or he's going to take some punishment and then he's just going to fade as the fight goes. But definitely I'm going to go with Rybavix in this one. Who you got?
Surprisingly, I'm going to agree with that entire analysis.
Duh.
I fucking hate it.
You should probably agree a lot more with my analysis, especially based off of last card. But once again, we'll get to that later. Go ahead.
Last card, huh? Last card. That's what I keep hearing. Last card. Last card. Last card. Talk about this last card. Fucking talk about this last card. You know what happened to the last card? Oh, fuck what happened to the last card. Okay?
Dude.
Last card was last card. You know what I mean? Sometimes players fuck up.
Hey,
This is bringing me
all
down,
right,
man.
bro. Let's focus. Let's break down the fight.
You need to relax.
Fucking Nasser. Esteban Rybavix beating his ass
You gotta calm down, man.
for the win. Go to the next one, man.
Are you okay?
Oh, man. Moving on to fight number 2 that I truly have no idea how this could be a co-main event with all these other... I mean, literally, the fight that we just broke down is a banger. I mean, I wouldn't want to watch Austin Lang. I mean, I know. I might actually want to watch Austin Lang.
Whoa.
No, okay, I won't go that far. But definitely the Chepe fight should be in this co-main spot, or at least in the Austin Lane, Mario Pinto spots. I don't know what's going on, but we have a middleweight fight between Cody Brundage going up against Julian Marquez. We got Brundage coming in 4-5 with 1 no contest in the UFC, 10-6 with that 1 no contest overall, and 2-2 with that 1 no contest in their last 5 fights. We got Marquez coming in. They're 3-4 in the UFC, 9-5 overall, and 2-3 in their last 5 fights. I'm gonna be going with Marquez in this one by either KO or submission. They're gonna be the older fighter by 4 years, the taller of the two, a power striker with decent grappling, but definitely are gonna look to want to keep this on the feet. They're gonna have the edge in the aggression, and they're going to look to finish this fight. No wins by decision. Their cardio's in question. But I would say that, as long as they're able to get this one done early, or get the fight going in their way, in a way that, like, I've seen, like, once things start not going Brundage's way, he just kind of gives up right there inside of the cage. So if he's able to at least mount some offense early and, start to bust Brundage's motherfucking ass, from the first bell, then I could see him breaking him later on in the fight and, finding that KO. Brundage, he's the younger and shorter of the two. Somewhat well-rounded, but definitely leans to their grappling and probably has the edge there. I mean, he has all the makings to be a good fighter, but I just feel like mentality plays a lot into, how they perform inside the cage. And if you would have seen his last performance, which I believe was in Denver, in that fight against Al Hassan, I mean, bruh, that shit was fucking. I knew he was gonna quit. Like I knew it. I knew as soon as he had the opportunity to make it a no contest, he was gonna go for it, and he went for it. And although it was beneficial for me and my parlays and everything like that, it just made for a really underwhelming sequence, sort of similar to the situation last week with Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong. It was literally just like that, you know. Looked like it was gonna be a banger. Al Hassan even looked like he was, you know, maybe even gonna, you know, start to mount some offense, and then things just went left. So, you know, Brundage, that's one of my main things with him is his mentality. He's not really that threatening, except for if he's able to get, you know, advantageous positions in the grappling. But he'll literally look for a win any way possible in the win or lose. Like he'll look, my bad, I meant to say he'll look for a way out, win or lose. You know, he can possibly pay off for Marquez's aggression, but other than that, outside of like some type of grappling exchange that goes his way, I'm gonna have to go with Marquez in this one.
Your breakdown's not wrong. But I still can't go with Marquez. I've got to go with Brundage on this one. And not that I even like to go to Brundage because I was at that fight. And that being said, like Brundage did puss out like a whole ass little bitch.
Bitch, nigga.
With that being said, I mean,
But he's
it
from
was
Inglewood, Colorado,
the
bro.
smartest route. You know what I mean? To not a loss, right? So do I think, you know what I mean, he'll do that again? I don't think he has the possibility to do it again because I think that's something that gets you cut from the UFC. Do I think, you know what I mean, he's going to use his veteran prowess to, you know what I mean, make whatever happens very similar to Henry Cejudo? Absolutely. So you've got to take that into account, the fact that he does know the ins and outs and the back doors to certain things. And do we believe that Marquez knows the same? I don't think we do necessarily. So I think it's going to be a good fight because it has to be a good fight. Because I think, in my opinion, both these fighters are fighting for their job.
You're fired.
I don't think, you know what I mean. I don't think this is a you lose to Cody Brundage and you stay in the UFC, or you get even a good match in the UFC. You might be on call, which is great, I guess, but you're not a fighter they're calling up. You know what I mean, to give you the next fucking big bout for either one of these fighters. So I think they're both fighting for their jobs, and I think they also need to both put on a clinic or a show. That being said, I believe Brundage can get it done again because his last fight ended very early. He didn't take a lot of damage, so maybe he was able to like really, you know, bounce back from something. So I think
continue his fight, bro. What do you mean he didn't take a lot of damage? He couldn't even continue.
he
They had
couldn't
to call like a no contest.
Yeah, but it wasn't because of like fucking brain damage or like, you know what I mean? It was.
That's a pretty extreme case. We didn't need to go that far, my G.
But you know what I mean? Like, it was incidental damage. It's like something he's gonna recover from.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, oh, he snapped his ankle, foot, some shit like that. You know
No,
what
I
mean?
got
Like,
you. I was just fucking playing with you, to be honest, because fucking we all know.
Don't
what
fucking
that
play
was.
with me. I don't fucking play.
Shut the fuck up.
My bad.
Okay? Cody fucking Brundage for the win.
Oh, man,
Fucking touch the fucking coat, man.
Such a vibe killer.
All right, folks. Moving on to
The main event of the evening.
we got a flyweight bout between Manel Kape going up against Asu Almabayev. We got Kape coming in. They are 5-3 in the UFC, 20-7 overall, and 4-1 in their last 5 fights. We got Almabayev coming in. They are 4-0 in the UFC, 21-2 overall, and are currently riding a 17-fight win streak.
Killing spree.
My pick's going to be with Almabayev in this one by sub or decision. They're going to be the smaller fighter. These guys are both the same age. A grappler definitely with the edge in that department with some decent hands though. They got good cardio and may have the edge there too as well. But really their bread and butter and what they're going to look to do is to get this fight to the ground as many times as possible. They're definitely going to chain wrestle. They're going to use striking to gain entry for takedowns, but for the most part, they're going to probably avoid standing exchanges for long amounts of time. And really just not really try to strike with Kape at all, in my opinion. Kape's going to be the older. I mean, I'm sorry. They're both the same age. He's going to be the bigger of the two fighters. He's going to be a striker with okay grappling, or at least grappling defense. He's going to have the edge in the stand up. He just tends to get a little gun shy though, especially when he's up against high level grapplers. He's going to want to keep this fight at distance. Definitely, if he can perform at a level like he did in his fight against Bruno Silva, that'll be wonderful. He'll just, run a, striking clinic, keep Almabayev on the outside, stuff his takedowns if necessary. And that would be, ideally how he wants to get this one done. But I just don't know if that's going to happen. Like I say, even though he likes to shoot for that highlight finish, he has, his knockout finishes and stuff like that. He doesn't fare too well against grapplers just overall. So what I've noticed with guys like that, they get gun shy. They're looking for that big shot to, turn the tides, as opposed to just, maybe just trying to point fight their way to victory and just avoid getting taken down. And then they start thinking about getting taken down. And then it just starts to look bad. So I thought I was going to pick Kape at first, but ultimately I had to end up going with Almabayev in this one.
I agree with the Almabayev pick, and I'm going to say something that was your take on it. Because I don't want to take credit from you.
Sure.
You put a very good point out there that this looks like a boost up fight for Almabayev versus a good fight for Kape, because Kape was supposed to fight Brandon Royval, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
contender.
What happened?
Royval pulled out.
Okay, and so kind of give them your opinion on why you think this is a more of an Almabayev than a Kape pick. You know what I mean? And I'll just kind of follow that because you did have a very good opinion on that.
Disclaimer, I don't have any true insight to this, but from what I can gather, just from an outside perspective, I already feel like Manel Kape is a pretty, unique personality. Very, got an ego, and, thinks very highly of himself. And I think, can potentially be an issue. I'm not saying necessarily in negotiations, but just, in the build up to fights, press conferences, and just like, his temper and stuff like that. I feel like sometimes he can make situations stressful when they don't necessarily need to be for the UFC, which, can leave a sour taste in their mouths. In his last fight, he said, "I want a title shot. I deserve a title shot. I will be fighting for a belt next time you see me." When they asked Dana about this, Dana was like, "Oh, he's not getting the title shot." Said it. I mean, quick. Didn't even hesitate. Just, "Oh, he's not getting a title shot." We're definitely gonna sit down with him and we're gonna give him something he's looking for, but he's not fighting for the title anytime soon. So that right there said a lot to me. And then, okay, cool. Boom. Yeah, he's not getting a title shot, but he does get, a fight booked with Brandon Royval. That's a super, super huge look. Definitely the next step. You have to fight for a title if you beat Brandon Royval. I mean, I think he's ranked #1 in the division under the champ. So, of course, that's a great look for Manel Kape. Royval pulls out of the fight. Now, this is going to sound crazy, and people can take it how they want. Like I said, this is just pure speculation, more so than anything, just something fun to talk about. But, I mean, I wouldn't say it's not far from the truth given UFC's history. I think maybe Brandon Royval was told to pull out of the fight.
Watch your fucking mouth.
And, you know, due to maybe Kape not necessarily being who the UFC wants to see in that position next. And now they're going to have something lined up for Royval, which I'm sure for him's going to have some title implications, you know. But now Kape goes from, you know, one step to the belt to now all of a sudden having to fight under against the 8th ranked opponent who is super dangerous and literally stylistically is kind of a bad matchup for him. So that just looks crazy to me. So yeah, Almabayev then definitely has a lot to win here. But now Kape doesn't necessarily have anything to win. Like, does this mean because he's fighting somebody with a skill set that's adverse to his, that because of that and because he's willing to take this fight, even though Royval pulled out, that he's maybe doing the UFC a favor and so they're telling him, you get a fucking title shot after this? Or does this just mean you get to maintain your spot and then we'll see how things play out and see where you fall in the middle of it all, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Then, you know, you think about it, okay, Kaikar France, I believe, is the next person in line to fight Pantoja. I believe that's who's facing him next for the title. So when you think about that, he at one point, not too long ago, was supposed to face Manel Kape just for a regular flyweight bout for positioning in rankings. He pulled out of that fight. Kape won that fight, you know, that he fought an opponent on short notice, beat him, called out Cara France in front of his people, called him all sorts of names and all kinds of shit. Cara France then goes on to fight Steve Erceg, who was fresh off of losing to the champion, and cleared him. You know, kudos to Kaikar France. But then, okay, looks like the number one contender is Brandon Royval, Brandon Moreno, and then Brandon Royval's the number 2 contender to the title.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so either way, I feel like Kape got screwed. Now Kaikar France, you know, is fighting for the title, never having had to fight Manel Kape. Manel Kape's over here just fighting, you know, debut guys and dudes rising up the rankings and not really getting his shot, you know, to really establish himself in that top 3 and then eventually fight for the title. He loses this fight to wrap for his flyweight title contention. Like, I don't think he gets another run after this unless he just goes on a tear immediately after. So if you ask me, now Kape's getting lined up, bruh. It's kind of wild, if you ask me.
That being said, I've got to go with Almabayev. Because I believe it. Like the way that was presented to me, it just made sense. I did at one point feel like Kape might be the fighter to pick, but it does sound like he might be getting lined up.
If he doesn't get a knockout, you know, it's either he gets submitted or controlled for fucking 3 rounds, or, I mean, like I said, he could put on a striking clinic, but anything short of a knockout finish for Manel Kape, I just don't think he contends for the title after that or just going forward. And I think it's kind of foul. But like I said, if you paid attention to the UFC, you know, like I said, I don't know if they have a bad relationship with Kape, but I do know what it looks like when it, you know, when I feel like somebody's getting lined up. And this is what that looks like.
Oh my God, I was set up, boys.
All right. Well, folks, that concludes our predictions and picks portion of the show. You got any parlays for us, sir?
You'll not fucking address me as fucking sir. You'll address me as the goddamn parlay god.
You got any parlays for us? Fur coat God.
I see the disrespect is going to continue. That being said, fuck my goddamn co-host.
Damn, son.
Let me go ahead and give you my fucking parlay. I've got one quick parlay. It's a 3-pick parlay. It consists of a little bit of a ladies' night. First starting off with Luana Carolina. And then seconded by JJ Aldrich. Third, Chepe, the man Mariscal.
Okay.
That will be my 3-pick. Real easy, real quick, guaranteed. Motherfucking teed. Parlay God guaranteed.
On God.
The 3-way parlay.
3-way parlay.
The 2 girls, 1 Chepe.
2 girls, 1 Chepe.
All right, folks.
The Chepe Minaj.
I got a base 3 parlay to start. I'm gonna be going with Charles Johnson, Luana Carolina, and Mario Pinto. If you want to spice things up, you can throw JJ Aldrich on top of that. And if you really want to spice things up, you can throw a spicy Chepe on top of that. I wanted to do more, but I need to keep it, measured. I don't need to be going too wild with parlays. I do enough of that, just betting in general. So, full card parlays never panned out well for me, but one day. But okay, folks, let's get to what everybody really wants to talk about on this episode. Last week, not only did I win out the card, like won, more fights picked right than lost, so we got that. I whooped this nigga's ass. I fucking got. We picked 5 fights against each other. I got 4 of them things. So thank you. You got 1 back. So I want to say now, because you actually did go up back to 18 fights on me. And then with Saturday's results, I want to say that puts me at 15 fights now. Because you did squeak out 1,
14 fights.
14?
14.
Okay.
We won by squeak. Well, it could be, right? No, that was in the same day, right? So it had to have been 14, so you got to be up 14 fights. Maybe my math is wrong. I did go to DPS.
I'll crunch the numbers. But anyway, so whoop this fool's ass. Won the card anyway. This fool fucking lost the card. But luckily, I'm a part of the channel, so I was able to save us. Not only picking, I didn't get into the top picks on the UFC Predictions Tracker, but I was of the top 10 in the most profitable in ROI due to those 3 underdog picks that I got, looking real nice.
Nice.
So that got us, featured, which was cool. But yeah, whoop that ass. He lost the card. I got most profitable. So I guess all that's left is to show you a graphic here. This is going to show you last week's results from the card. It's going to show you our results on the year, which now I am ahead on the year. Definitely. You were up a fight at one point. Now I am up firmly in the lead by at least 2 or 3. And all time, though, my brother still holds the all-time title. He's definitely a great. He's been great over this year and some change. So he definitely is whooping my ass in that department. I will say that. So good shit. But we gotta know, bro. What's up with the fur coat, my G?
Before I fucking get into that, let's go ahead and say congratulations to you. Last week, you whooped my ass. It's all I've been hearing.
Sure did.
Whole week, right?
Handle
my ass. Fucking whoop my ass, right?
Yeah.
It's good. Fucking good. ROI champion this week. You
yeah.
Know what I mean?
2-week winning streak in terms of ROI, too. Let me mention that, folks.
That's solid as fuck, right?
Yeah. Shorts went off the chain on YouTube. Shout out to everybody who watched the shorts over this weekend,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Fuck Patty.
Thanks, bro.
Raised you to be a fucking, you know what I mean? A good bet,
Chill
man.
it out. Chill it out. Dial it back a
Raised
little
you to
bit.
be
No,
a
no,
good bet, man. You know what I mean?
no, definitely not. No.
No, I
I
didn't.
say you didn't raise.
I didn't.
No.
No.
You may have helped me rise to the
Helped you
occasion.
rise to the
Just,
occasion.
motivate me a little bit, put a
Yeah,
little
but-
chip on my shoulder. But you definitely didn't teach me anything.
Yeah.
You just been a little, you've actually just surprised a lot of folks. You're like the, what do they call that award for somebody who does well? Most improved. For sure. Definitely most
I'm
improved,
most improved.
considering
most
what
improved? Is that
was
what you're saying?
expected of you going into
Is that
this
what you're saying?
process.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even though we're just starting out, I
Mhm.
would say that you're most improved because nobody really expected this to be how it was. And now that I'm starting to come on the way I am, and it's starting to make sense now that was all kind of just like a fluke. We can now look to seeing you not necessarily ever come back and beat me, but just be able to, condition yourself to actually be able to actually just like even breathe the same air that I'm breathing, when we're doing this show. So once again, hold on to that all-time title as long as you can, but if we start going at 4 fights per card pace, oh buddy, it's gonna be a wrap for you. But yeah.
I would like to, you know what? I'd like to explain.
Please explain. I think
fucking-
anybody who supports you deserves the explanation at this point.
Here's an explanation, people. A goddamn fucking sun shines on a dog's ass every now and again. Broken clock is right twice a fucking day. I'm goddamn RayBuck. Who the fuck do you think this dude is? You think because he won one fucking fight card
Appreciate
that
it.
you're the shit? No, hold up. Calm it down. We don't want to fucking hear that shit. We're talking about 18 fights prior to this, 14 fights fucking currently, and the most winningest fight card person on the whole channel. I'm goddamn Jordan out here. Oh, I lost a game? I don't give a fuck about a game. I don't lose in the finals. I don't lose in the motherfucking championship. I take the last shot. I'm the guy. Always will be the guy. Running shit. You wanna know what fucking $4 is about? It's because I'm getting bucks. That's what it's fucking about, baby. You think one little loss means shit to me? Sometimes you gotta lose 100,000 to get $1 million, my boy. Give a shit. Running out here. What the fuck are we talking about? Greatest to ever do it. Doesn't matter to me. I'm still fucking RayBuck. I'm still Chackle Jordan. I'm still the parlay god. I'm still the goddamn gift to fucking betting.
Gifts.
I'm the gift gamblers. Because at this point, you're not fucking gambling with me. You're just winning and winning and winning.
Well, folks, all I can say is if last week you went with this guy, you got the gift of cold. Because he got his motherfucking ass whooped. You haven't you've maintained, but you haven't been separating any further. If anything now, you've allowed me to open the door. I'm start to go on a run. I'm start to get comfortable in this motherfucker. Look at this guy. This shit, what size is this?
What the hell are you doing?
My size, motherfucker, get off me.
Shit.
Listen here. Oh, this card right here, I'm going to whip your ass.
This is a rocky moment for you?
Rocky moment.
Okay, so if this time next week we're talking about how I fucking beat that ass again and came up even more fights.
What do you got? 3 fights against me?
What are you going to wear that week? You're going to put a fucking headdress on? You're going to fucking put on a red nose? Floppy shoes? You're going to squirt a little fucking ink or water out of your fucking flower on your, on your fucking dusty ass fucking suit jacket? I am this shit. And I mean, if last week was any indicator, it's going to look real dark for you this year. You're going to have Shit, by the time this shit's over, you're gonna have killed you or de-iced and then fucking killed a whole mammoth by the end of this year. You're gonna fucking be out here fucking in full fucking shit. You're gonna have tusks and hoofs and all that shit. You're gonna be built for the Ice Age by the time I'm fucking done with you.
Okay.
You got anything else? Never really explained to the people, but it's all good. You just went on a tangent. Didn't really say nothing. But it's all good. I got us here. I got us. Bros Talk MMA community. I got us. Don't worry. We still on our way to the top. With that being said,
fucking close it out. I don't give a fuck.
Thank you everybody for watching.
Fucking lame.
We appreciate
Go ahead.
all the new subscribers.
Say it all
the new viewers. Appreciate everybody again who tuned in to our post-fight shorts. Everybody who's tuned into the past episodes. Much love to all y'all. Make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram at Bros Talk MMA. You can follow us on TikTok as well at Bros Talk MMA. You can follow me at Utica_SME. Bro don't like to be followed. And yeah, make sure that you check out the UFC Predictions Tracker to make sure to get, all the numbers, all the breakdown of who everybody's picking in this community, and to see how we match up against all of them. And yeah, I mean, really, that's all I got. You got anything else, man? You gonna join us, or are you gonna be all in your fills and shit?
I'm out in my motherfucking pills.
Bro, you're in a whole fur coat inside with glasses on, sunglasses.
I wear sunglasses
wrong,
every fucking night. You know what I mean? It is what.
Well, folks, this has been another episode of Bros Talk MMA. I'm your host, Utica, undeniably the illest cat around, a.k.a. Mr. Make This Pick Real Quick, a.k.a. about to take this title real quick, yoink, a.k.a. the new leader in picks for 2025, a.k.a. the most profitable picker on the UFC Predictions channel with a 2-week winning streak. I mean, bruh, I'm on fire, bro.
He's on fire!
Is them tears, bro? Come on, bro. Gotta get you together, boy.
I'm here with my bro host extraordinaire.
I need no introduction. I'm fucking RayBuck. I'm Chocolate Jordan. I'm the fucking greatest that's ever done, the greatest that ever will do it. I am Mr. Give me my belt, hand me my crown, the Parlay God, motherfucking Black Nostradamus, Black Jesus, Black Moses. Leave my people the fucking land of honey and money, bitches and stitches if you start talking shit. So, that's who I am. Fur coat God.
Well, folks, with that being said, happy betting. We wish y'all nothing but the best. And until the next time, we out.